Alright, welcome back to Arifureta Anime Review, episode number 26. I had discovered, basically looking online, that apparently there is going to be one more book of the series for Arifureta. I initially thought the series ended with book 13, but no, there is a book coming out next month. I'm like, that's interesting. I mean, there's no release date here, but yeah, it's coming. Next month, book 14. Looking forward to my hands on it. So, I'm glad because I kind of felt as though when I read the last light novel, I kind of felt as though there's still more story here. It felt like basically there should be at least one more book. And yeah, we're getting another book. Thank you. Good. But here to talk about the 31st episode of the Arifureta anime. I think it's like 32nd. It is the 32nd. Haltina's Labyrinth. This episode adapts from pretty much the last like 9 pages of chapter 2, the entirety of chapter 3, and it stops at the 3rd page of chapter 4. Here's what happens. Lily is seeing me through the portal and, well, and we see Hajim's teacher first time this season. Aki. Yes. Kind of interesting we waited 6 episodes in to see here, but it's not the anime's fault. It is the fault of the light novels. Because, here's the thing. She is not in book 7, so do not blame the anime for cutting her out. It is the light novel's fault for that. It's a very brief scene. Of course, that's what's going with Hajima. And, of course, she brings up what happened in previous episodes, like the fact she got nearly raped. And the fact that basically she's hated for Corey's sake, because she and Corey are best friends in this world. And that the opening scene itself is like those last 9 pages, and then we go straight into like chapter 3, which almost the entire episode is from this chapter. The ending of this episode, which is like just like about 2 minutes, I think it is, that is from the opening pages of chapter 4. So we have Hajima, Tio, Yu, Corey. There is Shizu, Siko, Shizu, Kanori, and basically the 8 people. Of course, they opened this, which this thing was actually last seen back in season 1 very briefly. I think basically this is like, oh, Hydra's going back here. Because we last saw this tree back in season 1 of the show. I think it was like back in episode 7, I think it was, where they get back to because they had to get more items. So there is some object, and of course they restore the tree. They open the door, they get inside, and as soon as they get in, like everything's so nice, like wake up inside, like they're separated, and then Hydra proceeds to string up Yu, Tio, and one of his classmates. And they proceed to shoot them because they're imposters. Yeah, literally they're imposters. They ask, like, where is there one? He knows right away Yu was an imposter. And Tio, the one who was there, was an imposter because of his demonic eye. The other one was purely guesswork. Excuse me. And after eliminating some bees, then they come across a monster, who of course, he tries them, and of course, Hydra kicks him, like, wait, that's not a monster. That's you, transformed into a goblin. And after explaining some stuff, and then just a few minutes later, and the easy guess is one goblin get beaten up, and like, oh, and wait, this goblin's acting, it's obviously Tio. And then by sheer randomness, they find the other guy. And there's a good bit of conversation here, and then they go inside the tree, this next portion, and they get teleported, and of course you also have where Yu and Tio are like close to him, and of course you have Corey and also Shiel gone to him. And then, of course, we go to the ending of the previous episode, which is a preview of this last week's episode, where we see somebody waking up from an alarm clock at 6:30 in the morning. Trust me, I did today. And he's like struggling to get up, and then Yu is there wearing a school uniform. You're like, what is going on here? I thought they were in the Labyrinth. Well, get back to that. So, and then they were the Shari, who does not have, she has to have a bunny ears. And they go to school where Corey is there. And, of course, Tio is a teacher for some reason. And then they see... Believe it or not, there's a bit of cut here for the scene where Miu is here too, and she's not a dragon person for some reason. She's a normal human. And she calls, of course, Hajime Big Brother. That was something briefly she called him back in season 1 before she switched to Papa. And in the book it's explained that the reason why she would kind of call him that as a nickname in order to make her mother happy. That was simply the reason for it. And it's a great scene, and it shows something in the future, and of course, he knows something is wrong. And he wakes up next day, and Yu is in his bed, and she's wearing a very seductive nightgown. And he knows it's basically Yu's acting completely, from his perspective, out of character. Basically, listen to every single word he says, obeying every whim. Yu is not exactly like that, and of course he easily figures out, and then he transforms back to his normal self, and then apparently his room is destroyed, and then he wakes up in a coffin. He gets out, he sees Yu, and he sees everybody who's basically, and of course he mentioned, oh yeah, you passed the test, and then he basically sees the coffins was covered by amber, and that's the episode. Quite an interesting episode. Yeah, the last, like I mentioned, the last minute of the episodes from these 2 pages. I gotta admit, they did a great job adapting this episode. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and chapter 4 is the last chapter of this book. So, now I kind of knew that they were going to get to this book. Now, I almost kind of predicted this book would end the season, but given how many episodes are left, there's like 10 left. As of right now, that's not going to happen. No. This is not going to be the last book. Now, my guess is what is going to be the last book. It's probably going to be book 9 at this point. Yeah, I think 9 is a bit short of this one. So, how many more episodes do I see for this book? I'd say probably 2 at best. Yeah, I'd say I don't think it wrapped the next episode. I'm kind of surprised with you because they did almost an entire chapter this episode. Not half a chapter, a whole chapter. Which they made a little bit of cuts here and there, but nothing that disrupts the main story. Which, good job on them for doing that, because I know that the series basically got a lot of flack in Season 1 for doing this. Season 2 was a lot better with the adaptation, even though that when it got to Book 6, they cut out an entire freaking chapter, including a whole character. And then they fixed it with this season where they put the character back in. That was Lily's brother. Yeah, they cut him out for some reason. Not sure why. Yeah, so based on how many light novels are left to go for the whole series, well, I would say with the end of the season, because we're probably going to have book 9, we have probably about 5 more volumes left. I would say we could probably get about 2 more seasons out of light novels. Yeah, get back, there is going to be definitely book 14, so my guess is the next season probably is going to go with books 10, 11, and maybe 12. Yeah, I think so. And then, the final season of the show cover 13 and 14, and then that'll be probably it. So we probably can get 2 more seasons out of light novels. Yeah, I'd say 2. I'd say nothing wrong with that, per se. But what I'm really hoping for, after the season concludes, that before you do the next season, why not adapt the spin-off series? Yeah, you can do that between the seasons. You can have, a whole book take up a whole season, because the Free of Zero novels are really long. Yeah. They're about over 400 pages a piece. So you got roughly, there's 6 books, and that series is definitely concluded. By the last book, the series is over. I can definitely say that one's definitely over. So, how many seasons can you get out of those 6 books? I'm guessing 3. Yeah, I'd say about 3 seasons overall. 3 seasons, 2 books apiece, should be perfectly fine, and don't be 10 episodes. No, don't do that. Given how long these light novels are, I would say make it the same length of season, 16 episodes. Do that. Have each book take up 8 episodes. Take your time. But it depends on Astrid. Do I think they might adapt Free of Zero? It's possible they might do it, but that depends upon the studio. Yep. So yeah, this particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, do not dislike button. Also, the whole thing that they mentioned, a tagline back in the book, seeing double. Yeah, that's the thing with this book, doubles. Yeah, and this book is not only good for Shia, which is going to develop for her, but also is development for another character. I'll mention her later on when we get to it, but yeah, there's actually one more character who gets a lot of development this season. And you'd be shocked about this. Yeah, shocked about it. We'll find out soon. So next anime we're going to talk about is going to be the next episode of Spirit Chronicles. But next up is going to be my only comic corner today. And it's going to be discussing the One Volume Man thing. And, well, another series. Okay? But to the next video. Bye.